Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks for joining us. The 2012 Citywide Curbside Cleanup is in full swing, and if your unwanted items haven't been picked up yet, listen up because you might be next. Crews will be picking up items on Saturday, May 5th from France Avenue to Normandale Boulevard. Then the final cleanup day will be on Saturday, May 12th for residents west of Normandale. We visited a few homes already filling their curbs with bulky items that wouldn't normally be taken by regular trash services. Items like mattresses, furniture, and appliances are all accepted. Construction material like windows, lumber, and doors are also accepted, as well as bundled brush like you see here. Electronics, tires, paint, and oil are not accepted at the curb, but the South Hennepin Recycling Center would be happy to take those goods off your hands. Visit the city's website for more information on remaining curbside cleanup dates and areas, as well as a full list of items accepted for cleanup. Bloomington's community garden plots have been sold out since late March for this growing season. And recently, park maintenance employees have been busy making the plots ready for planting. This was Harrison Park, located at 1701 West 100th Street in late April. The soil has been tilled, weeds and other plants pulled up, and plots numbered and staked out. It will be up to renters to section their plot off using chicken wire, plants, or another form of fencing. And before long, these empty spots will look like this. The city recently expanded the number of gardening plots and has rented 54 plots at Smith Park and 28 at Harrison Park. This footage from the parks last summer highlighted an array of plants, including flowers, squash, corn, and so much more. And while the city's community garden plots are sold out for the season, there are a few other options to explore if you're looking to try out your green thumb. Public Health still has some statewide health improvement program supported community gardens at various sites. This includes St. Mark's Church and Cedar Crest Church, both in Bloomington, and House of Prayer and Bethany Covenant Church in Richfield. For more information, you are asked to contact the churches directly. And when you aren't gardening this summer, head over to the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center, a facility you might not even recognize once they open their doors for the season. Over the winter, the bathhouse at the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center underwent a huge improvement project, a project that Recreation Supervisor Ann Mozak says was much needed.
The Bloomington Family Aquatic Center will open Saturday, June 9th at 11 a.m. We're very excited to have patrons see our new facility. It's going to look quite a bit different for people. They're going to be amazed. We added 2 family changing rooms and new women's and men's locker rooms. Along with behind me, we have a central corridor. So instead of having to go just into the women's and the men's locker rooms, they have a choice. They can enter the hallway right out to the facility.
The facility is now bright, inviting, and complete with a nautical wave theme, from the tiling pattern on the wall and the wavy ceiling to the nautical light fixtures. Besides being bright and inviting, Mozak says families will now feel more comfortable for one big reason.
With the addition of the family restrooms, it provides a family-friendly environment and a safer environment, so parents don't have to feel like they need to send their little boy through the men's and they're going to go through the women's to meet them out on the deck. Now they have the option to use one of the family changing rooms or just go right out onto the deck from the admissions area.
A first aid area and an elevated lifeguard room were also remodeled with this project.
Safety and aesthetics, those are the most important, and we want to make sure that everyone is having a good experience at our facility. So if we can provide a clean, attractive, and safe facility, that's one of our main goals.
The water side is currently under construction. That's expected to be ready for use by the June 9th Bloomington Family Aquatic Center opening. Well, Bloomington is a hub for various transportation methods. One popular form is the light rail train. Let's take a look at how Metro Transit is working to keep residents safe on the LRT before an accident were to occur. Take a look. Alternative transportation methods can be found all around the city of Bloomington. Two major freeways cross within city limits. A river defines the southern border, and an international airport lies directly to the north, and most recently, light rail trains carry passengers from Bloomington to Minneapolis, with plenty of stops in between.
There are 4 stations in Bloomington on the Hiawatha Light Rail line. There's the Mall of America station, 28th Avenue, which is also a park and ride, American Boulevard, and Bloomington Central. The 4 stations do have different characteristics. Mall of America, obviously a very popular destination, one of the most used light rail stops in the system. 28th Avenue, a large park and ride facility. A lot of people park to go to work or to go to special events and take the train downtown. And then there's Bloomington Central and American Boulevard with lots of access to jobs.
And as the popularity of the light rail transit, or LRT, increases, Metro Transit safety team wants to make sure riders are aware and staying out of harm's way. And if you're an LRT passenger, that safety begins before you're even on the platform.
Take a moment to focus their attention and their mood as they approach the platform. Make sure that as they're crossing the tracks, they look both ways. Expect a train from any direction on any track at any time. If folks do that, they'll be able to negotiate the pedestrian crossings well.
And once on the platform,
fully allow the train to stop, and then standing back from the edge as we like to do, then we're allowing for those on the train to alight, leaving room for us to board safely. So it's a mixture of customer etiquette and safety.
The Hiawatha train line runs from Bloomington's 4 stations to the airport and then into downtown Minneapolis. With 19 total stops on the line, there are policies that need to be recognized and followed to keep everyone safe while waiting for a train.
No skating, skateboarding, riding bicycles, running, horseplay, wrestling, parents mind your children. All of these things are part of the contract. That is, there's a shared responsibility among our patrons and the public at large and Metro Transit.
Light rail transit safety isn't just for the passengers, it's also for the motorists commuting around the tracks and stations. LRTs are run electrically, making them very quiet. Metro Transit uses a variety of techniques to alert motorists of an LRT's whereabouts.
Considering that they're difficult to hear at best, we need to look for them. Furthermore, we need to obey the signals that are out there for our safety. The grade crossing warning devices, bells, lights, gates. We need to make sure that we obey them. Never, ever, ever ignore them. That means that a train is in the vicinity. Furthermore, the trains are 300 feet long. They are 300 feet long, but they're only 300 feet long. They'll be by in several seconds, and then we can move along according to the signals that we get.
And to keep safety tips fresh in the minds of riders, in just a few weeks, Metro Transit will be rolling out a new spring safety campaign found wrapped around a bus, a train, and in plenty of stations, encouraging safe travel.
Metro Transit views safety as a shared responsibility, so as long as customers just use common sense and are aware of the safety tips, everybody will have a great ride on Metro Transit.
Visit www.metrotransit.org/safety for more tips and videos for motorists, pedestrians, passengers, and bikers. It's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Police Commander Dave Olmsted to discuss ways residents can help deter young people from celebrating the prom season dangerously. Stay right here.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. We are now pleased to be joined by Police Commander Dave Olmstead. Welcome to the show, Commander Olmstead.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, we're here to talk about, you know, something that comes around every year, and it's prom season. It's ramping up. High school students, Bloomington, in fact, is celebrating prom on May 18th. And as exciting as this time can be, it can also be a dangerous time. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Traditionally, the time from prom season to Labor Day is what they consider the 100 deadliest days for teen drivers in the state and in the country. Specifically, it is the leading cause of death in teenagers, and that would include murder, suicide, and any type of illness. It's a very dangerous time of year. In fact, in 2009, 300 kids were killed in motor vehicle crashes and another 350,000 were injured. So it's something that's obviously very concerning for us at the police department, and we want to educate the teenage drivers to take care and consideration when they're driving.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that we kind of factor? Is it just the excitement of graduations and proms, or why do we kind of see this increase in dangerous driving?
Well, obviously they're out of school, so they have more time to be on the roadway. There's more daylight, so they're out more. Obviously they're going to their jobs, and yeah, there is some excitement, and obviously there's the party seasons of graduation and prom, and sometimes there's alcohol involved in some of those decisions that lead to bad things happening.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of leads us into the next question. It's been within the last year that Bloomington has adopted a new social host ordinance that basically holds people criminally responsible for parties and underage drinking that occur there. Why don't you talk a bit about that new ordinance? Sure,
you touched on it a little bit. It basically holds people criminally responsible for hosting an event where they know underage drinking has occurred. And it doesn't mean that they furnished the alcohol to them, but they had knowing knowledge that underage was taking place at a venue that they own.
Okay. Now, does this include, say, the social host could be a teen who mom and dad are gone, so they have people over, or a parent who is quietly sitting in another room? Does it kind of cover all of that?
It could be both. Basically, let's take the incident mom and dad out of town. Yeah. If mom and dad are out of town and they don't know that the underage drinking party is taking place, they can't be held responsible. But if mom and dad have knowing knowledge that there's a social event taking place at their home where there's underage drinking taking place, they can be held criminally responsible for that. And it doesn't have anything to do with the age. So if the child is hosting an underage drinking party too, they can be held criminally responsible as well.
Okay, I see. So everyone is being made to be accountable for that. That's a good thing. What kinds of consequences are we looking at? People who are responsible for having an underage drinking party?
I'll touch upon the consequences here shortly. Part of the reason to come in on the show is we kind of want to remind parents and their kids that we realize prom season's on May 18th, and with prom season comes graduation, and we recognize there's probably going to be parties in homes and hotels and other venues on the city. Once again, we want to remind them that it's not only illegal to furnish alcohol to underage people, but it's also illegal to provide a venue where you know that drinking's going on. And when we talk about consequences, the city ordinance is a misdemeanor, and a misdemeanor is punishable up to 90 days in jail and or a $1,000 fine. So it's very significant.
No, it's no joke. One thing the police department really focuses on is the importance of family, educators, and public officials all working together to discourage these dangerous types of behaviors. Talk a bit about why we do that and why it's proven to be an effective method.
Well, one of the things we do here in Bloomington is we do a mock crash, and sometimes it happens yearly or every other year, where we bring in Bloomington Police, Bloomington Fire, and Alina Medical, and we simulate a crash with alcohol as the contributing factor, and that people die in the crash. And we use students from the high schools, so it brings it home to the kids that, hey, this doesn't just happen to other people. This could happen to you if you make the choices to drink and drive and get behind the wheel of a car. Another thing that we're very passionate about in the city through some of our other partners like Public Health and Tri-City Partners is educating parents and teens to the ramifications of drinking and driving, and as well as allowing your kids to drink in a social setting in your home.
Absolutely. Well, Commander Olmsted just touched on it, but you know, an example of the education is through this mock crash program that happens this year in particular. It's every other year. So last year we were at Jefferson High School where they had a mock crash take place. We're going to go ahead and look at some of the scenes from that mock crash, and you know, it sends a very real message to the students there. So let's take a look at that.
I've been a cop for 23 years, and I can tell you that the scenario that you're about to see unfolds every year at this time of year. And it's one of the saddest, most tragic things that you could ever go to as a police professional, as a paramedic, as a fireman, to have to go through something like this. And when everything is all cleaned up, to have to go and make the long walk up to your mom or dad's door, knock on the door, telling them that instead of having a night that you'll remember for the rest of your lives, that they've got a night that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives because their kid is not going to make it home now.
The 2011 mock crash preparation at Jefferson High School started long before the actual demonstration began.
I think the importance of doing a mock crash is to give the kids and the community an idea of what it takes, what happens when people drink and drive, the results, the horrible results of drinking and driving, and the aftermath of that. And what we'd like to try to show is exactly that. We actually moulage the kids and kind of get that emotional feeling ramped up and give them an idea of what it would be like to lose a friend.
Student actors are rounded up and prepped on the scenario they'll be reenacting. They then get into character even further by applying makeup and artificial blood to their bodies and clothes. Actors are then placed on and around the crashed vehicles, making the scene look as real as possible, even offering some insight on why they're participating in the event.
I'm doing this because drunk driving is a terrible thing, and no one should. Right. No one should be drinking and driving, especially on prom night.
Then the students begin to file out to watch the gruesome scene unfold. To set the scene, here are 2 carloads of prom-going teens. One driver has been drinking, and a collision has taken place. This is an exact replica of how police, paramedics, and fire crews would conduct themselves on an identical real-life accident, one that unfortunately Bloomington officers say they see almost every year around this time. A 911 call is made. When emergency personnel arrive, they survey the scene to see who has the most immediate need for medical attention. Crews then go to work, stabilizing and gaining access to all the injured teens, even using the jaws of life. Some of the kids are taken away in ambulances.
So how many fatalities?
Others are more gravely injured and are airlifted from the scene of the mock accident as a North Air Care medical helicopter touches down 100 feet away. One student is removed from the wreckage and taken away in a hearse. The students' faces after seeing the mock crash unfold were a mix of emotion, shock, horror, and disbelief. The scariest realization, surely, is that the same scenario could happen to someone they know, or even themselves.
Obviously, if we can save some kids that from making wrong decisions in at prom time or any time during the year. We think it's important to do that, and this is a good example of what can happen, and we just like to see kids avoid that.
And that was footage from last year's mock crash that took place at Jefferson High School. And again, I'm here with Commander Olmstead of the Bloomington Police Department. And you know, there are certain tips that come along with safe driving, and it should be common sense, but a lot of people don't jump right in the car and put their seatbelt on, or you know, things of that nature. What are some reminders we can give this time of year to our teen drivers?
Well, the first one I would tell them is to wear your seatbelt. Obey the traffic laws. You know, don't speed. Don't be distracted when you're driving. Don't text. Try to stay off your cell phone. Limit the number of passengers you have in your car. And by Minnesota law, in the first 6 months of having your driver's license, you can only have one person in there. Make your driving your #1 focus. And obviously, don't drink and don't drive.
Absolutely. You shouldn't be drinking anyway if you're under 21. Can we touch back on the texting? Now, I read a poll somewhere that a lot of people don't even realize that that is a law now in Minnesota, that you cannot text and drive. Are Bloomington police officers out there enforcing that?
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah, okay. And then finally, kind of sum this all up. Why is this season dangerous, and what's the overall goal at the end of the day for the Bloomington Police Department?
Well, we touched upon it a little bit. Obviously, the teenager drivers are out of school, and it's an exciting time with prom and graduation, but it's also the most deadliest time for teenage drivers. So we really want to urge them to be safe. Don't drink, you know, and when you're driving, don't text. Don't talk on the cell phone. Don't be distracted by your friends. Wear your seatbelt, obey the traffic laws. And ultimately, we want you to have a safe prom, a safe graduation, and get where you're going alive.
Absolutely. Accidents that can be avoided
Correct.
happen every day. Okay. Well, wonderful. We'd like to thank Commander Dave Olmstead for being here with us today. For more information on the city's social host ordinance, visit the city's website and keyword search social host. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
I'm Gene Winstead, Mayor of the City of Bloomington, and I'm here with Debbie Gotel, Mayor of the City of Richfield, and Jim Hovland, Mayor of the City of Edina. We're excited about a collaborative effort between our cities in partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield to develop our communities into healthier places to be. We're looking for all of you to be a part of it to improve health in all of our communities.
Let me see you shake that body. Come on and rock that body. Let me see you move down. Everybody move your body. Let me see you shake your body. Come on and rock that body. Let me see you move something.
Welcome back, everyone. The city's Housing and Redevelopment Authority would like to let residents know about some new funds available for improvements of foreclosed homes. If you are purchasing or have purchased a foreclosed home in this area of Bloomington within the last 12 months, you could be eligible for up to $20,000 in loan funds to make improvements. The great thing about the Foreclosed Home Improvement Program is in buying a qualifying foreclosed home, 1/2 of the amount borrowed will not have to be repaid if the owner stays in the home for 5 years. The remaining half will be a deferred loan that doesn't need to be repaid until the owner sells, transfers the title, or no longer lives in the home. HRA Program Specialist Brian Deerwachter recently appeared on Bloomington Today to discuss the Foreclosed Home Improvement Program. If you missed that very informative interview, simply visit the city's website and keyword search HRA, and from there you'll see a link to that segment of Bloomington Today. And while you're checking out the HRA's website, you may as well visit another great online source. The Do Town campaign has increased its online presence by launching a brand new website. Let's check it out. www.do-town.org is a new website that helps exemplify the Do Town mission of making the healthy choice the easy choice. Each of the 3 cities involved, Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield, are all present on the new site. Let's click on the Bloomington tab. Here you can see a statement from Mayor Winstead about the Do Town campaign, as well as a public service video starring the mayor with the popular Blue Cross Blue Shield Do Groove guy. Also, upcoming healthy living events are listed on the right-hand side. You can click the Main Events tab up top to see a list of all Do Town sponsored events within the 3 cities. Check this site out for further events and information on Do Town, or you can leave your email address where it says sign up for updates to have all the latest news and healthy living events sent right to you wherever you are. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past episodes of Bloomington Today or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks so much for joining us.